Chili here with Sirius Dallas Moon, and let's talk about solar energy because I talked about gas, I talked about oil. I know oil is a burning topic now in certain countries, but also gas. Um, Almost summit vibes. Mars releases. um, I definitely had a Mars Uranus release, which was it was gruesome, but that's Mars Uranus. Um, Now Mars in a B-sextile with Neptune and Pluto, but let's talk about solar energy. Because what prompted me to press record, Iraq is one of the nations that's going solar. It's still in transition. It's one of the greatest oil producers. Its own energy is gas imported from Iraq. And this is something that prompted me to think, wait a second, what assists solar energy? Because oil is like Pluto. Oil nukes Pluto. Solar gold, but wait a second. Uranus gas explosions. Um, and unfortunately, also electricity with Uranus. Dead bodies upon dead bodies of rapists. I think a lot of the movement towards electric grid was dead bodies upon dead bodies of rapists in two world wars as well. Only now I connect the dots. Now solar energy, wherever it's at, and this is something I noticed. Solar, sun, sense of self, Leo. Leo is the heart. Now, sun is very young. It's very young. It emits energy. This is why it was one of the most surprising things to me that anything that goes through Leo has a Me Too thingy. So, Me Too empowered exposures, which is basically exfoliating the face and essence of the nation, the corporation, the house from sexual boundary violations or dishonoring the feminine, is supportive of moving to solar grid power. Um, does it go vice versa? I think essentially it has to, or something collapses. Um, so I'm not saying that there are no pitfalls to solar energy, um, but I think the world is kind of preparing itself. And when we think about switching the grid, particularly with solar, we're thinking about honoring the feminine, and that also means honoring rest, not just work. So this is one of the things that, although Leo is in a square to Taurus, Taurus and Scorpio can be frictions to solar energy, because Scorpio is the hidden. For example, sexual boundary violation doesn't always look like it. This is why the Epstein ring was filmed, so that people would be extorted, and they used misplaced arousal where the body tries to alleviate itself from trauma. And so people are laughing or look like they're orgasming or whatnot. And what's actually happening is that basically the soul tries to alleviate trauma. And that's Scorpio. Like we have to understand Scorpio to make that exfoliation. Otherwise, people are caught in the image or caught in the visible. And then with Taurus is the embodied. And with Taurus, rest is as important. If you think about the sun, is what is visible. So a lot of people can tend to show themselves as hardworking or show themselves as not working. But it's not about show, it's about being. And this is where the Taurus energy is the square to anything that goes through Leo. Um, the move to solar energy is also about honoring the heart and honoring vulnerability and honoring the sense of self, the I am, which means every person is their own life energy, and it also means their own land per person. And Venus in Leo co-present with Jupiter. We're gonna have Ketu Leo. There's gonna be a lot of bombing of infrastructure and preparations. I think there's also going to be purging of unsuccessful solar infrastructure. There was not solar infrastructure that was not designed to honor the feminine might be destroyed. Moon square Uranus Mars, ruled by Jupiter. Can be explosive emotional release. What what time is it? Jupiter hour. Remember that choice is also access to choice. Very important for Jupiter transits. Okay, sexual boundary violations negate access to choice. This is why rape must be abolished first before anything. And for enough time. What do I mean by that? We need to have enough time after abolishing rape for things to grow. This is why infants that were raped, asking them to work is going to compound in various fiascos. Like, I cannot stress that enough. People don't want the infants that were harmed to be forced into the workforce, and they also have to have the ability to, let's say, if they have to be trained, or they have to be, let's say, I don't know, they want to be an astrologer, so they have to get the proper training. The field has to be clear from rape altogether, and they have to be able to have the housing, the food, or the food that supports the nervous system in order to be able to not be forced to. And that's a prerequisite. With solar energy, dwellings, houses, structures of any kind that people are forced to be raped or raped in order to participate in, or forced to need those structures, they are going to go in flames. Particularly the people that force people to be raped in order to have a home. I think the moon Rahu is accentuated on that. Big fires. Also think about that people need space from one another. If people are not allowed to take up space from one another because of rapey society, societies will go boom. People that expect to make profit off of land or housing are the most susceptible. Like, they should take it into account, because they are compounding the trajectories that happened on the soil and on the houses.